What is going on, wonderful beings? It's Gage here, and welcome to Autism Talk. And today's Sunday. I wanted to do a little extra work on this podcast. I've been very active. For those that don't know, I had a seizure about 2 weeks ago. So I've been really taking it easy, not doing any strenuous work on my mind or my body or too much anything. But I'm active now, and I'm just very eager to come back, and I'm grateful to be back. And before we get into it, I hope you all had a great Sunday. I hope you had a very soulful Sunday and you got some good recovery today. My Sunday was phenomenal. I loved it. Very, very relaxing day. Very good energy. I go to this temple and it's just you feel like family when you walk in there. It's just incredible. Um, but the topic we're going to be talking about today is are Stoics emotionless? And this is something that's been brought up many times by people that aren't too deep learning into the Stoics or maybe don't understand what they're saying and they're misinterpreting it. The Stoics that Stoics being emotionless is very false. Um, 4 years ago, I might agree with you because I don't know much about them and I didn't take stock into what they were saying back then. But learned from the Stoics for the past 2.5 years. Um, it's one their all their teachings are pointers, and being Stoic doesn't mean you're emotionless. It means you're more non-attached. It means, and to me, I feel like you can care more in a healthier way. Like what the quotes and the lessons they put in is not from an emotionalist standpoint, but from a standpoint of caring, but learn to let go. Not like, for example, like relationship. Like some people will get super obsessive, or they'll get very clingy, which is on the very strong emotional side. But that's more of control, which is comes from the ego, um, and that is not love. And claiming someone's yours, that is not love, that's ego. And the Stoics at one point, I don't know their lives too, because it was a long. They're alive. They're hundreds of years ago. I mean, Marcus Aurelius. Some of you might, if those that are very in tune with history, you guys recognize his name because he was the emperor at one point, hundreds of years ago, possibly 1,000 years ago, a couple thousand at this point. Don't mark me on that; I could be wrong, but anyway, getting back on topic, Marcus Aurelius. All this started was him just writing his journal, and like he didn't intend for this to be like sayings that are getting quoted and or all to some people could be like a guide. From his I think his book's called Meditations. Um, and all of these lessons, things they at some point were they got so hurt from caring so much about people in their lives or situations that they want to learn a different way, a healthier way to deal with things. Um, and there is like levels. Like to me, there is detachment when you're starting to learn how to kind of detach from situations, from relationships, and not in a way like, oh, I'm done with you, but in a way of like I cannot deal with the saying over and over because it's insanity, and I want to love in the healthiest way, true love, not coming from the ego, not coming from any of that type of source, from a place of your heart and true love. And and guys, I've been really after my breakup, and I was very attached to that relationship. And I did a lot in that relationship, and after I got broken up with, or broke up with her, Doesn't really matter. I was in a very down state. And at that relationship, I broke up for a couple times. I had a hard time deciding because I had this idea of what love was, and I had this idea in our future together, and that wasn't love. It wasn't love. It was attachment, and it was my ego. Like, man, you want a wife, you want a kid. You know, you could have this with her. Um, Even though there's a lot of signs that I should have stepped back from the relationship, I should have evaluated what was going on, and I didn't. And it affected a lot of my relationships, affected my work life, affected everything. Um, because I was very attached. You know, it's okay. You can feel things, but when you hold on to something very tight, that is not love. You know, and that's where that can get mistaken in a lot of relationships. You know, it's a normal saying, but taking a step back and feeling out, your heart will tell you, like, oh, do I feel good about this? If your heart like starts to not feel too good about it, um, then it's probably not the best decision. And the Stoics were people that cared a lot, and through meditation and through looking not looking for a victim perspective, but as a student's perspective, it'd be the best way to put it. Um, Viktor Frankl, for example, and this is a guy from the Holocaust. There he saw his mother and I believe his sister, got slaughtered, and he didn't even know if his girlfriend was alive yet. And he came out of this not as a victim, but from a perspective of like, what can you do in situations that you have absolutely no control of, and not hold on to hope, because when you hold on to hope, when there is none, that is attachment, and it's a way to severely disappoint yourself. And if Viktor Frankl would have done that, he would have lost his fire and would have been broken completely. Um, but he came at it from a lot of perspectives. Now I'm sure the man went through a lot. I haven't. There's a book I'm sure that he wrote. Like, dude lived for a long time after the Holocaust, and came and became a great teacher from that, because he learned a lot of things from that experience. No matter how tragic it was, he got a lot of good perspectives, and he told a story. You know, if he didn't do that, we wouldn't even know his name. You know, he'd be one of the victims of the Holocaust. Um, and that is, I couldn't imagine what he went through. You know, it was pretty severe. Like, I wouldn't know what it would be like to be in his situation, but the way he came out of it was so inspiring and so powerful. If Viktor Frankl can do that, the situations we go through, we can definitely get through. And it's not beating yourself up like, oh, man, why did I do that? Man, this relationship's going to shit. Why didn't I see this from the beginning? Don't beat yourself up over it. Reflect on it, but don't beat yourself up over it. You know, give yourself love. When I let go of my relationship, actually, I let go of my relationship, and it was a very rough couple months. I had my brother's a healer. He helped me through a lot to get through that process, because it was a lot. It was a very toxic relationship. But I'm not blaming on her. You know, I wasn't the best boyfriend either. You know, there's a lot of things I could have done better in that relationship, and I went with my ego, not truly from my heart. You know, and that there's a lot of perspectives I got from that relationship, and I gained more love for myself because I gave her all my time and energy, and it burned me out. By the end of the relationship, I was done. I was just done. Um, Luckily, I had a great support system, great people around me, and I was able to get through that. Um, but these situations, because a lot of us like, man, why is this shit gonna happen? And that's why I love the Stoics. They pick up from perspectives of like a student's perspective, and something you can learn from. No matter what the situation is, you can learn from it, and even going to work. And Seneca said, "You suffer more imagination than you do in reality." And every time we go to work, we think this is going to suck. I have to deal with that coworker. Our customer is going to be rude probably. I got to go to work in 4 hours. Like, this is, I can't have enough time to work. That's when we trip ourselves up. That is true suffering. And it makes things so much worse when you put in your mind. Everyone's going to have duties. And I'm going to tell you guys, from my perspective, retirement is death. Because you can't just have leisure. You gotta have your duties, man. You gotta have your duties because we all have them. It's part of being human. And the Stoics speak on this a lot. There is a quote in there. I forgot it though, but maybe in another video I'll show you that. But yes, Stoics. All there is pointers, and Stoics might not be right for you. But I'm telling you, from my perspective, it has been a life changer. And I'm just grateful I'm grateful for this knowledge to be here because I'm not sure when the time frame, but I know it probably was like 1,000 years ago or something like that. And the book's still alive. This is Marcus Aurelius' journal, and it's truly a gift to be able to read it and learn from a great mind. Um, and so no, Stoics are not emotionless. They learn how to control their emotions in a healthy way and from a loving way, because in their past, I'm sure at times they were super emotional in something and it hurt them deeply, to eventually to the point where they wanted to learn how to have more non-attachment, and they were able to love more that way without anger and all that types of emotion, which is normal emotions to have, but holding it in, that's where resentment comes from. That's where a lot of relationships end. And the Stoics are pointing to a healthier way of doing things. So I'm just so grateful to be able to learn this, and hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah. Hope you guys had a great day, and much love to you all.